My wife called the police, claiming I was intruding in our home during a fight. She didn't know the responding sergeant was my old rookie from when I was police chief. He wished her luck, handcuffed her for filing a false report, and chief mode was activated. Original post: I, 58 male, retired as police chief 3 years ago after 32 years in law enforcement. Moved up from patrol to detective, to captain, to chief. Seen everything, done everything. Thought I'd seen all the games people play. Turns out I hadn't seen this one coming. My wife, 52, and I have been married 26 years. 2 kids, both grown and out of the house. Marriage had its ups and downs like anyone's. Last few months, though, she'd been different. Secretive with her phone. Going out more with friends. Coming home late. Classic signs. I'm not stupid. I know what it looks like. But I'm also not confrontational about personal stuff. Weird for a cop, I know. I figured we'd talk when she was ready. Tonight she was ready. Just not the way I expected. She came home at 10 p.m. I was in the living room watching the news. She walked in, saw me, and her face did this thing like she'd forgotten I existed. Me? Hey, how was dinner? Her fine. Cold. Distant. We need to talk about what's going on. Nothing's going on. Me, come on, you've been out every night this week. You barely talk to me. Something's wrong. Maybe you're what's wrong. That stung. But I kept my voice level. What's that supposed to mean? I'm done with this. I want a divorce. Wasn't expecting it tonight, but not shocked either. All right, we can talk about that. Maybe we should. I don't want to talk. I want you to leave. Me leave? This is our house. My house. And I want you out. Now. It's both our house. We can figure out living arrangements, but I'm not just leaving at 10 p.m. because you're upset. Her. Get out. She was screaming now. I stayed sitting, stayed calm. Years of de-escalation training. Me. I'm not leaving. If you want space, you can stay with your sister. We'll talk tomorrow when everyone's calmer. That's when she grabbed her phone. Fine. If you won't leave, I'll make you leave. She dialed 911. I just watched, curious what she'd say. Her police? Yes, there's someone in my house who won't leave. I've asked him to go and he's refusing. I feel threatened. The dispatcher asked for the address. She gave it. Asked if the person was armed. She said she didn't know. Made it sound like I was a stranger. Me, you're really doing this? Her ignored me. Stayed on the line with dispatch. I got up, went to the kitchen, got my retired police ID and my concealed carry permit. Both current. Came back and sat down. If cops were coming, I wanted everything official and visible. 10 minutes later, doorbell rang. She rushed to answer it. I heard her voice getting louder, more frantic. He won't leave. I've asked him multiple times. I don't feel safe. Then I heard another voice. Younger, male, professional. Ma'am, calm down. We're here. Can you tell me who's inside? My husband. But I want him out. I don't want him here. Ma'am, is this your husband's residence too? It doesn't matter. I want him gone. I walked to the front door, and there he was. Sergeant now. Used to be officer when I was chief. Good kid, good cop. I'd promoted him myself back in the day. He saw me. His eyes widened for just a second, then went professional. Chief? Hey, been a while. My wife looked between us. You know each other? Sergeant to her. Ma'am, this is former police chief. I worked under him for 5 years. Her face went white, then red. I don't care who he is. He's trespassing. Ma'am, is this his residence? Huh. It's my house. Is his name on the deed? Yes. But then he's not trespassing. You can't call 911 to remove someone from their own home because you're having a domestic dispute. He's threatening me. Me, I haven't threatened anyone. I've been sitting in the living room watching TV. Sergeant looked at me. I showed him my ID, my carry permit, showed my gun secured in its holster, hadn't touched it. He nodded. Sergeant to my wife. Ma'am, did he physically threaten you or put his hands on you? Heh. He refused to leave. That's not a crime. This is his home. This is ridiculous. I called you to remove him. And I'm telling you, that's not how this works. If you want him to leave, you need to get a court order. We can't remove someone from their own property. Then why did you even come? Because you called 911 claiming there was an intruder. That's a false report, ma'am. I didn't say intruder. I said he wouldn't leave. You said there was someone in your house who wouldn't leave and you felt threatened. That's language we use for intruders. You know this is your husband, you know he lives here. You called anyway. I want to speak to your supervisor. You're looking at someone who helped train me. Chief, you need anything from us? Me, no, I'm good. Thanks for responding. Ma'am, I'm gonna ask you once, did you knowingly file a false police report? I felt threatened. That's not what I asked. She just stood there, fuming. Ma'am, turn around and put your hands behind your back. What? You're under arrest for filing a false police report. You have the right to remain silent. He cuffed her. She was screaming, crying, demanding he uncuff her, threatening to sue, calling me every name in the book. Chief, you want to press charges? Yes. You can't do this to me. You did this to yourself. They took her in, booked her. She spent the night in holding, made bail next morning through her sister. I'm sitting here now, 36 hours later. She's at her sister's, blowing up my phone with texts about how I humiliated her and abused my power and destroyed her life. All I did was sit on my couch. She's the one who called 911 with a false report. She played a stupid game and won a stupid prize. Getting a lawyer tomorrow, filing for divorce, and yeah, probably getting a restraining order too. 32 years in law enforcement taught me one thing: document everything, trust nobody, and never let someone weaponize the system against you. Update 1. 1 week later. The fallout's been interesting. Interesting, like watching a car crash in slow motion. First, the legal stuff. My wife was charged with filing a false police report. Misdemeanor. Carries up to a year in jail and $2,500 fine. Her arraignment was 2 days ago. She pled not guilty, obviously. Trial's set for next month. Her lawyer's trying to argue she genuinely felt threatened, so it wasn't false. Except the 911 call recording says otherwise. She specifically said, "My husband won't leave," not, "I'm afraid of my husband." Big difference in the eyes of the law. I met with my lawyer, divorce attorney, good reputation, showed her everything. The police report, the 911 recording, text messages from my wife after the arrest, threatening to ruin me. Lawyer, this is pretty cut and dry. She has no leg to stand on. The false report, the arrest, the threats, it all works in your favor. Me, what about the house? Lawyer, how's the title? Me, joint. We bought it together 20 years ago. Then it's marital property. Gets split. But given her behavior, we can argue you should get exclusive use during proceedings. Do it. One thing though, you're gonna lose friends over this. People are gonna think you used your position to get revenge. I don't have a position anymore. I'm retired, and I didn't do anything except sit on my couch. She made her choices. I know, but perception matters. Be prepared. She wasn't wrong. By day 3, my phone was blowing up. My wife's friends, some mutual friends, even one of our daughters. Our eldest called. "Dad, what did you do?" Me, I sat on the couch. "Your mother called the police on me in my own house. She said you were threatening her." I wasn't. The officer who responded knows me from when I was chief. He heard everything. He arrested her for filing a false report. She's saying you used your connections to have her arrested. I used my right to press charges when someone lies to the police about me. That's not connections, that's the law. Her dad, she's a mess. She's crying all the time. This is destroying her. She destroyed this herself. Or can't you just drop the charges? Me, no. Silence. Then, I can't believe you're doing this to her. Me, I'm not doing anything to her. I'm protecting myself from someone who weaponized emergency services because she was mad at me. She hung up. Haven't heard from her since. Our younger daughter hasn't called at all. They're both taking their mother's side. That stings, but I expected it. What I didn't expect was my wife's next move. She filed an emergency restraining order against me. Claimed I was stalking her. I haven't contacted her once. That I was using my law enforcement connections to harass her. Also haven't done that. That she feared for her safety. The hearing was yesterday. Judge looked at her petition, looked at me, asked me if I'd contacted her. Me, no, Your Honor. I haven't called, texted, or gone anywhere near her. Judge to my wife's lawyer. Where's the evidence of stalking? Her lawyer. My client feels unsafe given his background in law enforcement. Feeling unsafe isn't evidence of stalking. Does she have any proof he's contacted her or shown up anywhere near her? the night of the arrest, was in his own home. Next, he pressed charges against her. That's his legal right as the victim of a false police report. That's not stalking. Her lawyer tried 3 more angles. Judge shot them all down. Denied the restraining order, told my wife to stop wasting the court's time. My wife's face in that courtroom, pure rage. She glared at me like I'd personally ruined her life. Outside, her sister cornered me in the parking lot. Sister, you satisfied? You've destroyed her. She can't sleep. She's on medication. All because you couldn't just leave when she asked. I didn't refuse to leave. I refused to abandon my own home at 10 p.m. because she was upset. She felt threatened. By what? Me watching TV? So you were a cop for 30 years. That's threatening. Being a retired cop isn't threatening. Filing false police reports is illegal. She made a mistake. She made a choice. There's a difference. You're ruining her life over one phone call. Me, she tried to have me arrested in my own home. That's not one phone call. That's a calculated attempt to misuse emergency services. Sister, just drop the charges. Let her move on. Me, no. She called me some names, stormed off. Fine by me. But here's where it gets messy. My wife's been telling people I was abusive during the marriage, that I controlled her with my position, that she was afraid of me for years. Complete fabrication. But it's spreading. Mutual friends are starting to distance themselves. Some former colleagues are reaching out asking if it's true. It's exhausting. My lawyer says it's defamation, but hard to prove unless I can show actual damages. And suing my wife for defamation while divorcing her seems like overkill even to me. The house situation got resolved though. Court granted me exclusive use during divorce proceedings. My wife has 48 hours to remove her personal belongings. She's not happy. She sent me an email. Not supposed to contact me directly, but whatever. You've taken everything from me. My home, my reputation, my kids. I hope you're proud of yourself. I didn't respond. Forwarded it to my lawyer. Tomorrow she comes to get her stuff. My lawyer will be there. This should be fun. Update 2. 3 weeks later. The stuff pickup was 3 weeks ago. That's when things went from messy to nuclear. She showed up with her sister, her mother, and a moving truck. Plus her lawyer. My lawyer was there too. Ground rules were simple. She gets her personal belongings, nothing else gets touched without agreement. It started okay. They loaded clothes, her jewelry, her books. Then her mother started taking things from the living room. That stays. Her mother, she picked this out. It's hers. It was purchased during the marriage. It's marital property. It stays until the divorce settlement. Her mother, you're being petty. My lawyer, he's following the court order, personal belongings only. Her mother tried to argue. My lawyer shut it down. They moved on. But then my wife went into my office, started going through my desk. Found paperwork, old case files, notes, stuff from my chief days that I'd kept. All technically public record, but still. Me, what are you doing? Her looking for evidence. Evidence of what? Of who you really are. She took photos with her phone. My lawyer stepped in, made her delete them, told her she had no right to my personal documents. These could help my case. My lawyer, your case for what? You're not being investigated. He is not being investigated. You're going through discovery hoping to find something. That's not how this works. She didn't delete anything. Just stormed out with her boxes. Left 30 minutes later. 2 days later, I got served. Not with divorce papers from her. She hadn't filed yet. With a lawsuit, civil suit for emotional distress and abuse of power. Her claim, I used my former position as police chief to have her falsely arrested. That the sergeant who responded was biased because he knew me. That I orchestrated her arrest to humiliate her. The amount she's suing for, $250,000. My lawyer read it and laughed. This is ridiculous. She's the one who filed the false report. You didn't orchestrate anything. Can she actually win this? Lawyer, no, but she can waste your time and money, which is probably the point. She wasn't wrong. Responding to the lawsuit cost me $3,500 in legal fees. Discovery, depositions, all of it. My wife's lawyer is going scorched earth trying to find anything to paint me as some corrupt cop who abused power. They deposed the sergeant. He testified that he responded to a call, found no evidence of any crime by me, and arrested her for filing a false report per standard procedure. that my being his former chief had zero bearing on his decision. They deposed 3 other officers who were on duty that night. Same story. They tried to depose my former deputy chief. He told them to pound sand. He's retired too and has no obligation. The lawsuit's going nowhere, but it's costing me money and time. Meanwhile, the criminal case against her went to trial. Took 1 day. Prosecution played the 911 call. Sergeant testified. I testified. Her defense: she genuinely believed I was a threat because of my history of aggression. Prosecutor: what history of aggression? Her lawyer: he was a police officer for over 30 years. That's inherently aggressive. That's not evidence. Do you have any documented incidents of him being aggressive toward your client? Her lawyer: she'll testify to patterns of behavior. She did. Testified that I was controlling and intimidating throughout the marriage, that I used my position to scare her, that she called 911 because she was terrified. Cross-examination destroyed her. Prosecutor asked why she never called 911 before, why there were no police reports, no hospital visits, no documented anything. She couldn't answer, just cried and said she was too scared. Prosecutor: but you weren't too scared to tell him you wanted a divorce, to demand he leave, to call 911 and have him arrested? I finally found the courage. Or you were angry and made a false report, which is a crime. Jury deliberated for 2 hours. Guilty. She was convicted of filing a false police report. Sentencing's next month. She's looking at probation, community service, and a fine. She won't do jail time. First offense, nonviolent. Judge will be lenient, but she'll have a criminal record now. Her sister called me after the verdict. I hope you're happy. You've destroyed her. Me: I didn't destroy her. She did this to herself. Sister: all over a phone call. A false police report isn't a phone call. It's a crime. She weaponized emergency services. You could have just left when she asked. From my own home because she was upset? No. She hung up on me. The divorce is moving forward. My wife finally filed her petition, asking for half the house value, half my pension, and spousal support. My lawyer says she'll get some of it. The house will be sold and split. Pension earned during marriage gets divided. Spousal support might happen given the length of marriage, but won't be much since she worked too. I'm fine with that. Just want it done. But my wife's not done. She started a whisper campaign, telling people I was corrupt as chief, that I protected bad cops, that I abused my power. Former colleagues have reached out, asking what's going on. I tell them the truth. She called 911 with a false report, got arrested, and now she's mad. Most believe me. A few don't. That's fine. I don't need everyone's approval. What bothers me is my daughters. They're still not talking to me. They believe their mother's version, that I'm some abusive monster who had her arrested. I tried reaching out, left messages, sent emails, nothing. My lawyer says to give it time, that once emotions settle, they'll see the truth. I hope she's right. Sentencing hearing is in 2 weeks. Then hopefully this nightmare ends. Final update. 2 months later, sentencing happened. My wife got 12 months probation, 100 hours community service, and a $1,500 fine. Plus court costs. Her lawyer asked for leniency. Judge gave her some, but made it clear that filing false police reports is serious. Judge: ma'am, you called emergency services and made a false claim. That ties up resources. That endangers actual victims. And in this case, you tried to weaponize the system against your own husband. That's unacceptable. My wife cried, said she was sorry, said she made a mistake. Judge didn't care. The civil lawsuit she filed against me got dismissed. Judge ruled she had no standing. I didn't abuse any power, didn't orchestrate anything, and the sergeant's actions were completely justified. Her lawyer tried to appeal. Appeal was denied. Case closed. Cost me $8,700 in legal fees to defend against a frivolous lawsuit. I'll never see that money back. But at least it's over. The divorce finalized 3 weeks ago. Settlement: house sold. After paying off the remaining mortgage and closing costs, we netted $340,000. Split 50-50. I got $170,000. Pension divided. She gets 40% of the pension I earned during our marriage. That'll be about $1,200 a month when I start collecting. Spousal support: $1,800 a month for 5 years. After that, nothing. I kept my car, my retirement accounts that I had before marriage, and my personal stuff. She kept her car, her jewelry, and her stuff. Total cost of this disaster, about $95,000 when you factor in legal fees, the settlement, and future support payments. Plus my kids not talking to me, plus my reputation taking a hit. Was it worth it? Yeah. Because the alternative was letting her get away with filing a false police report. Was teaching her there are consequences worth $95,000? Absolutely. My wife's living with her sister now. Heard through mutual friends she's working part-time retail. Her professional reputation took a hit. Hard to get good jobs with a criminal record. That's not my problem. The daughter's situation hurts. Our eldest finally called me last week. Her dad? I'm still processing everything. Me? I understand. Her mom showed me the court documents, the 911 call recording, the police reports. And? I don't know what to think. She sounds really angry on that call, not scared. She was angry. She wanted me out of the house. She thought calling 911 would make that happen. She says you controlled her for years. I didn't, but I can't make you believe me. You know who I am. You know how I treated her, how I treated you girls. If you think I was abusive, that's your choice. Long silence. Then, I don't think you were abusive. I think she made a really bad decision. She did. I'm not ready to have you back in my life yet, but I wanted you to know I'm thinking about it. Me, take all the time you need. I'm here when you're ready. She hasn't called since, but it's something. Our younger daughter still won't talk to me. Maybe someday. Maybe not. I moved into a smaller place, 2-bedroom condo, nice area, quiet, used some of the house money for a down payment. It's peaceful, no drama, no false accusations, just me and my books and my TV. Retired life's supposed to be relaxing. This wasn't how I pictured it, but it is what it is. Former colleagues have rallied around me. The sergeant who arrested my wife got promoted to lieutenant last month. Good for him. He did his job right. Someone asked me if I regret pressing charges. No, not for a second. She tried to weaponize the police against me. That's not just a personal betrayal. That's a societal problem. People who file false reports make it harder for real victims to be believed. Do I regret the marriage? Parts of it. 26 years is a long time. We had good years, raised 2 daughters, built a life, but somewhere along the way, she became someone I didn't recognize. Someone who thought calling 911 with a lie was an acceptable way to win an argument. I spent 32 years in law enforcement, saw the worst of humanity, dealt with liars, manipulators, and criminals every day. Never thought I'd have to deal with it in my own living room. Life lesson. Doesn't matter who you are, what you've done, or what you know. Sometimes the people closest to you are the ones who surprise you the most, and not in a good way. I'm moving on. Dating? Maybe eventually, not now. Right now, I'm just enjoying the quiet. Reading, watching baseball, talking to old cop buddies, living life without drama. My ex-wife's life is harder now. Criminal record, split assets, probation, estranged kids. People know what she did. That's on her. Someone said I should feel bad for her. I don't. She made her choices. She called 911 and lied. She filed a frivolous lawsuit. She chose to smear my name. All because I wouldn't leave my own house when she demanded it. Actions have consequences. I spent 3 decades teaching that to criminals. Turns out I had to teach it to my wife too. Final thought for anyone reading this. If someone tries to weaponize the system against you, the police, the courts, whatever, don't back down. Document everything. Get lawyers, fight back, because if you don't, they'll do it again. To you or to someone else. I didn't use my connections or my power like she claims. I used my rights as a citizen. I pressed charges when someone committed a crime against me. That's not corruption, that's justice. And justice, even when it's expensive and painful, is always worth it.